Hello, everybody, and welcome back into Gamecock Central. Kendall Smith joined alongside of Collyn Taylor today, here to talk some men's basketball. Collyn, can you believe that men's basketball season is right around the corner? Because I feel like we just started football and now we're already into winter, and that means I'm graduating in 5 months, and that's really just not okay with me.
Yeah, short answer, no. I can't believe we're this close. I'm like watching the Google calendar that I have like fill up and fill up and fill up as it goes on. So um you savor the moments in August and September, and especially in the summer when things are slower, and it's this time of year where it just kind of every day is something.
Well, we've got a lot to get into with men's basketball. Lots of changes this year, a brand new head coach, some star power and Gigi Jackson on the team, some returners, some new faces from the transfer portal. And we're going to talk about it all on today's men's basketball mailbag, something we've never done in a video version here on Gamecock Central. But Collyn, you took to Twitter and to the Insiders Forum over on Gamecock Central to ask subscribers and followers questions that they might have for the men's basketball season. And we're going to get into some of those today. So are you ready to get on into it and see what the people want to know from the basketball expert himself?
Yes. And I will say I sent Kendall, I think 9 of these questions we got on the forum. She's picking 6. So if we do not get to your question, it's not because we hate you. There are things called time constraints. We have other things to do. So we picked I let Kendall, I picked 9, she's gonna whittle to 6, and we'll go from there.
Then you ultimately put the pressure on me because
Yeah,
I'm the one that has to chop it down to 6.
pretty
So
much.
I'm the one that looks bad.
My goal is to never be the person people are mad at.
I'm the scapegoat here. That's okay. Well, we'll go ahead and kick it off, get right into it. So our first question of the day comes from Cap'n Gamecock. Gamecock. I always mess up these names that are on the CAPN Gamecock. I'm sorry for butchering that name. He wants to know, are we truly going to be the worst team in the SEC as projected? I feel like we have a few experienced transfer guys that will make us more competitive. What you got, Collyn?
I do not think they will be the worst team in the SEC, but I do think they will finish in the bottom half of the league as it stands right now. There's a site called barttorvik.com. It's the first of the analytics sites to put out their preseason projections. And right now, South Carolina is projected to be, if I'm doing my math correctly, the 3rd worst team, ahead of Vanderbilt and Georgia. Who knows what that looks like? My guess is that that's probably accurate as it sits right now. But what I will say is there's a lot of unknowns. You obviously have Gigi Jackson. You obviously have a bunch of guys that are coming from either mid-major schools that have played a lot of minutes or some high-major schools and just haven't had the opportunity. So we'll see. But right now, I do not think they'll be the worst team, but I do think they finish in the bottom half of the SEC this year.
Well, at least there's a little promise if they're not the worst team. And if they're better than Georgia, I feel like that's something that all Gamecock fans can feel a little bit good about. I'm just trying to find the positives here. But like you said, there is a lot to find out still about the season, especially with a brand new coach. And that kind of leads into the next question, Collyn, which is from Wexler. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He wants to know who you think the projected starting 5 are, who the sleeper on the team is, and then he wants you to pick which freshman besides Gigi that you think will have the biggest impact this year.
So we got a bunch of starting 5 questions. We got a bunch of freshman questions. So I like how we're just combining it all into one question to save time. Starting 5, I'm fairly confident that guy Gigi Jackson's going to be in there.
You're really going out on a limb on that one. I mean,
I love being a hot take. Yeah, I love being a hot take artist. Michi Johnson's your point guard. Hayden Brown's going to be more than likely your small forward. Gigi's going to be your power forward. Where that fills in after that's the other 2 questions right now. I'd say Chico Carter at the other guard spot, and then Josh Gray at the center spot. That's how I would look at the starting 5 right now. And then sleeper on the team, I'm gonna say Chico Carter,
Okay.
a guy that was really good at a mid-major level, Murray State, can shoot the cover off the ball. I think this is a better system for him in terms of what South Carolina is going to be asking him to do from an offensive and defensive perspective. He didn't see the court a lot last year because I'm not sure how great of a fit he was in Frank Martin's system defensively. I think this is a better system for him overall. Neither is right, neither is wrong. I think this one's for his skill set a little bit better. So I'll say Chico for my sleeper. I think he can be a really good spot up 3-point shooter for them. And then I think outside of Gigi, I'll say Daniel Hankins Sanford is a guy that is going to be the freshman with the biggest impact. He's not a guy that you're going to give the ball to and say, go get us 10 points and 8 rebounds, but he kind of does a little bit of everything. He's really good defensively, can rebound the ball, physical, kind of what you want at the point of attack. So I'll say Daniel Sanford is the guy who's my freshman pick outside of that Gigi Jackson guy.
We'll have to check back in on that at the end of the
Yeah.
season. I'm going to hold you to everything that you're saying right now, Collyn. And then at the end of the season, we're going to see just how right you were about all of these predictions that you're making. But you did talk about that system and Chico Carter maybe fitting a little bit better into the system. And I think that's something that a lot of people want to know about. And it's a question that we got a lot for this mailbag. So from Give 'em the Spurs, he wants to know what we should expect from the system, what we should expect from the offense. Will it be up tempo? Will we push the ball or walk it up? Will the half court oriented around the post or play more 3-point shot heavy? And then he kind of wants to know defensively, will we be more man to man or zone? So what are you thinking there?
Easy answer first. You're going to be more man to man defensively. I don't think it's going to be as Frank Martin kind of built his culture, built his team identity, personal identity on playing good defense and getting out and running because of it. So I don't think you're going to see that this time around. In terms of an offensive scheme, in talking with Lamont Paris, you were with me at our sit-down interview. He talked a lot about wanting athleticism and shooting. So I think you're going to hopefully see a team that takes a jump from a shooting perspective, more guard dominant in terms of being able to space the floor and play with the ball on the perimeter a little bit. And they're going to get to the rim. That's not me saying that, but they want to play at the rim with the guards as well. So I think you're going to see a little bit of that. But other than that, we don't know. I think it'll be a mixture of Coach Paris has talked. He told us that he likes to get up and down the court and transition. But I think you're going to see a nice mix between setting up in the half court and getting out in space because they do have some athleticism. Michi Johnson's uber athletic. Gigi's uber athletic. They have a couple other guys too that can do that, but you also want those guys in the half court as well that are able to make cuts and dunks and set up pick and rolls and really kind of put the defense in conflict. So that's kind of where we sit. I know that's probably not the answer people want, but you're going to see a mix of that half court and getting out in transition, and you're going to see a lot of, I think, guard dominated lineups, guys that can handle the ball, put the ball on the floor. And maybe a little bit more spacing, 4 out, 1 in, compared to what maybe you saw with Coach Martin, where it was a lot of 3 out, 2 in with the high and the low post guy.
So heading into the season and with practice beginning now and Lamont Paris at the helm for South Carolina, there are a bunch of new faces, not just on the court, but also on the staff for the men's basketball team. And there were some questions in this mailbag about the staff and the personnel for the men's basketball team. So there's a question here from G and B in NC. Shout out North Carolina. Had to get that one in there. Thank you for your question. They want to know if you can expand more on how the role of Kerry Rich has evolved on this staff. And he said that his understanding is he won't be a bench coach really, but he assumes that he has been heavily involved on the recruiting side. He also said, thanks for the stellar work as usual, Collyn.
A little pro tip to the people that want to know questions or get their questions answered. Kiss our butts and tell us we do a good job. And that tends to get your question on there a little bit more.
Be from North Carolina. Yeah. And then you'll definitely get it from me.
Yeah. It's a good question, and no, Carey's not going to be. He can't go on the. He's a support staff member. He's not a part of the on coach. Or Tim Buckley, Tanner Bronson, and Eddie Shannon are your three paid assistant coaches. What that looks like moving forward with Carey, he's going to help in recruiting. He can't go out and recruit and reach out to prospects, but once he gets them on campus, he's able to talk with them, kind of give his perspective as a guy who played at Carolina. Obviously knows so many people in the community, so many people just around he has relationships with a lot of people in the Columbia basketball community and the state community. And the hope is he helps them with some inroads to a couple in-state talent guys. You have a lot of in-state talent coming out over the next couple of years. The hope is that he can help you just get some inroads, and then it's up to the coaching staff to recruit and sell them and talk to them and get them to come. But that and recruiting, and then from an on-team perspective, being able to mentor, being able to talk to the guys and just give a perspective on how he went through it over the course of his career, and kind of what to expect, and just having someone that can give you the alumni relations. He's obviously close with a lot of former South Carolina players who are either in coaching or not in coaching, and kind of just be a do-it-all, whatever Lamont Paris needs from him, just kind of be that bridge maybe to the community, to the former players, and then help, getting to know some of these people in Columbia.
And I think not just with basketball, they just turned off my lights in here. This keeps happening every single time that I am on camera for Gamecock Central. If anybody saw my tweet last week, they turned off the lights at Williams-Brice when Collyn and I were doing a show. Yes. Now they turn off the lights in the studio. So now it looks like I'm just like under one spotlight. But as I was saying, I think a lot of people, when it comes to the staff of South Carolina athletic teams, whether that's football or whether that's basketball, they're kind of like, okay, where does everybody fit in? Where are all these roles? What are the jobs exactly of everyone who is on the staff for the South Carolina basketball team, football team, etc.? So that's kind of another question that we got going off of Kerry Rich and what his role is going to be. USC 61 wanted to know, what are some of the roles of the other basketball staff personnel? So when we hear these names, it's like, what exactly are they doing for the team?
So Lamont Paris is obviously in charge of everything. Delegating, big breaking news, delegating, spearheading recruiting, spearheading what the team looks like, instilling a culture, personality, all that stuff you think of with the head coach. His three assistants are in charge of recruiting, kind of finding guys, being the lead recruiter with Lamont Paris's help, scouting opponents during the season, doing some self-scout, just kind of assisting with whatever needs to happen in terms of scouting, in terms of recruiting, in terms of everything else that goes along with it. And then obviously coaching on the court when they get there. Then you have Kerry Rich, who we talked about. Then you have David McKinley, who was actually on staff as a paid assistant at Chattanooga, and is now he's director of personnel, or they give them some fancy titles, but he's helping with recruiting. He's helping in player development. He's helping in a lot of different ways. Essentially, however Lamont Paris wants to use him, they can use him. And his official title, I just looked it up, is Director of Player Development. So there for practice, there to, help out however's needed, and kind of set some ducks up in a row with recruiting, the back end of recruiting, helping out with official visits, setting up for different things like that, taking people on tours who need tours at times, setting up locker rooms, stuff like that. Then you have Colby Arundale, who is the director of basketball operations, essentially in charge of kind of some of the back end stuff in recruiting too, managing schedules, setting up things, communicating to players about schedule times, organizing travel, organizing contracts for schedules, organizing all that stuff. And then you have Roman DiPasquale, and I really hope I'm saying that correctly, but he's the video coordinator, and he's in charge of cutting up video, recording, making sure coaches all they have to do is log into the system, be able to pull up something and watch the film on it. So I think that's it. Yeah, I'm looking. And then you obviously have graduate assistants and trainers and nutrition staff members and strength staff coaches. But from a support staff role, that's what that looks like, if that's a good enough answer.
I mean, I think you got down to the video coordinator. Like, you really went deep.
When I'm gonna be thorough, I'm gonna be thorough.
You were being very thorough, and I'm sure everybody appreciates that. So now you all know the pyramid and the way things line up. Yes. And if you didn't know, Lamont Paris is in charge. I just put that out there. Lamont Paris is in charge of the whole program. I know it's shocking, but that's why you subscribe to Gamecock Central, because we bring you that expert analysis and next level insight every single day. Collyn, we're getting to the end of this men's basketball mailbag. We've got one more question. This is, I think, your favorite question of all of them. It's a very good question. It is from...
This is the one question I told Kendall we need to have to do. I was like, you can pick the other ones. I want to answer this one because it's a good question.
This is a very good question. It is from JT Mathwig. I think I said that right.
I hope you did.
They want to know, what would be your suggestion to fans on how to enjoy the season, which will likely not feature a lot of wins? What would you deem a successful season?
Successful season. First of all, in terms of enjoying it, I think it's not often at South Carolina that you get to watch a projected lottery pick, a potential first round NBA talent play. So enjoy that. Enjoy watching GG Jackson play and playing for, fans wanted him to beat South Carolina so bad. Enjoy that for what's more than likely the year that you get to enjoy that for. I'll say that first and foremost. He's a special talent. He'll have some growing pains because he is 17 years old, but very rarely at South Carolina over the last couple of years have you gotten to watch an NBA level talent, not just NBA level, lottery pick level talent play. So that's something I would say to enjoy. I think you can enjoy, watching a program be built. There's going to be a lot of bumps. Obviously, Bart Torvik projects South Carolina to finish. I'm looking at it right now, 14-15, 6-12 in the SEC. So, it's probably not a lot of wins if that's projection holds. Enjoy watching the flashes. Enjoy some of the things that will show you progress as you move forward. This is a team replacing, at least 80% of production across the board. You lost nearly everybody who mattered on that starting five. You lost a lot of pieces of this team moving into this year. So enjoy some of the flashes you've seen. Enjoy some of the bricks you see getting laid. Understand that there's going to be some growing pains. But there is some talent on this roster. So enjoy seeing that. And kind of, as someone who's grown up around South Carolina athletics, I hate saying wait till next year because that is like the mantra fans hate. But see the foundation that gets laid. Obviously, you want to make the tournament. You want to compete for that. But enjoy watching GG Jackson play. Enjoy seeing the foundation get laid. Enjoy the wins that do come. And just kind of go ride the roller coaster, understand that there are going to be some downs, that you're probably going to lose some games, and enjoy it. And then in terms of a successful season, 500, getting to 500, beating a team or two that maybe you weren't favored to beat. I think that would be important. Having GG have a successful year to where he can go to the NBA and you can use that in recruiting, I think will be helpful. And just kind of beat the teams you're supposed to beat, maybe beat a team that you weren't supposed to beat, or go on the road and take care of Tennessee, go on the road or beat Florida or beat somebody that was projected to be a tournament team and let the chips fall where they may. And if this team gets to 500 or gets a little bit over, I would consider that a pretty successful season.
I like what you said about just enjoying watching a talent like G. Jackson. So many people so excited for him to be a South Carolina Gamecock, and it was a roller coaster to get him to that point. And now he is finally on campus in Columbia playing for the team. And like you said, it's not often that South Carolina has experienced something like this before. So really capitalizing off of those opportunities. And I think there is a lot of excitement surrounding the program right now, and obviously focused on Gigi Jackson. And there's still a lot this year to find out about this basketball team. And I think that makes it even more intriguing for those that are interested. So we've got a lot of men's basketball coverage coming up this season. Collyn is that guy for men's basketball when it comes to Gamecock Central. When it comes to the beat in general, you're just the top, Collyn. I'm a little biased, obviously, but top of the top. We're going to keep you updated on GamecockCentral.com with basketball, with football. Collyn gets to drive like 8 hours with me on Friday to Kentucky. Are you excited?
Can't you tell how excited I am?
Well, it'll be vlogged, so we will have all the behind the scenes.
I get to put my dad shoes on and like
Collyn getting like the gas, checking into the hotel. Like we're like, he has to make sure his ducks are in a row. Myself and Michael Sauls are the.
Trust me, the anxiety attack that will come Thursday night as I start to pack. I might vlog that. I might start to record that. That way you can see like the process in which I pan out and the anxiety I go through preparing for a trip. So just to fill the listeners and the video watchers in on all of it.
He prepares for the trip and then he goes full dad mode when he is in charge of me and Michael Sauls. But it's going to be a great weekend, and we're going to keep you updated with everything in the world of South Carolina athletics as usual over on GamecockCentral.com. Collyn, this has been fun. I enjoyed talking about men's basketball. It's been a lot of football recently, so thank you so much for all of your insight as usual.
I appreciate you being here and willing to do this and that time of year.
That time of year. We appreciate all of you being here as well. For Collyn Taylor, I'm Kendall Smith. This has been the men's basketball mailbag on Gamecock Central. Have a great day, everybody.